can be exhausting because at this point, it's been about 4 weeks. And I be feeling like everything happens for a reason. So I don't get too upset. And it's not like, for the most part, I'm missing out on money because of it. I'm still working. I'm still getting paid. But it could just kind of be draining. All of the issues that I've been having with my truck. But while I was sitting here, I just had to renew my Twic card, and my new Twic card came in yesterday, which I was excited about because my old Twic card expired yesterday, and when I went to renew my new Twic card about a week ago, the lady told me that they were backlogged and it might be up to 60 to 90 days before my new Twic card came in, which y'all know I run tanks, I run hazmat stuff. A lot of the places I go to, I need my Twic card. But it came in yesterday. Actually, I think I went to the Twic office probably on Monday, and it came in yesterday, which was Thursday, so it was extremely fast. But I had been wanting to make a video about Twic cards because it absolutely positively blows my mind that people don't know what a Twic card is. They don't know what's required for a Twic card. They don't know how to get a Twic card. They don't know what's the purpose of a Twic card and all of that stuff. So that's why I decided to make this video solely talking about, yeah, it's ugly, my Twic card. Wait, can y'all see that? This is what the new Twics look like. So my Twic card. Decided to make a video about that. So for me personally, I have had my Twic card since 2012. I have been a Twic card holder. The reason why I had to acquire my Twic card was because I worked for a chemical plant for 8 years, and when I got hired at that plant, I obviously had to get my Twic card. So the process of getting your Twic card is almost like the same as if you have to get your hazmat. So you have to go through a background check, and you have to do fingerprints for your Twic card. And right now, the price that I pay here in Louisiana, it was $130. It's the same price to renew it as it is to get a new one. So it's $130. And the place where I went to get mine, they do like TSA pre-check type stuff. They also do the hazmat stuff. So you will want to look in your area, or just simply get on Google and Google your local Twic office. What is a Twic card? A Twic card is basically like another form of identification. It's just like you have your license. Okay, your Twic card is another form of ID, like to the point where some airports, I've used my Twic card to as a TSA pre-check before. Like I've been able to do pre-check with my Twic card. There's other places where I've been able to use my Twic card for certain things because it's like another form of ID. Now, with that being said, there are certain things that will prevent you from getting a Twic card. Like certain felonies will prevent you from getting a Twic card. So it's not just like, you go apply for your license or whatever and it's a come on, come off. If you have certain stuff on your background, that will prevent you from obtaining a Twic card. I don't know the exact things. One for sure is terroristic threats. I know for sure if you have any type of terroristic threat situations on your background, you can't get your Twic card. There's a couple of more of them. Like I said, I don't know all of them. Okay, so why do you need a are federally owned. So any property that is federally owned, you will need a Twic card to get access to those properties. Like, so you have to have a Twic card to get in. You can't get in the club without your ID. That sort of situation. So, for me, like I said, I loaded a lot of different chemical plants, and a lot of them require me to have my Twic card. Going into the ports, I've been to the port in Jacksonville, the port here in New Orleans. We run the port of Mobile, Houston port. All of these ports require you to have a Twic card. Now, well, you might be thinking, why would you go through the extra steps of getting this card? Some people say that it doesn't matter, or it doesn't make or break a load financially. But military loads are top paying loads. You will need a Twic card to run a military load. To get onto a military base, you will need a Twic card. So, therefore, yes, having your Twic card can increase your revenue, can increase, the amount of money that you're making. I don't know how it is for dry-van and all of that type of stuff, but I know here in the tanker industry, our loads pay more if it's a Twic required on that load. Like, I've noticed that myself. Like, that hasn't been something that somebody has told me. I pay attention to the stuff that I run and what it pays. And when a plant requires you to have a Twic card, or when a customer requires you to have a Twic card, that load is going to be paying a little bit more than what the average regular load that doesn't require it pays. Boom. So, boom. That's Twic card. Twic card is just that simple. I don't know why people make it into such a big deal about obtaining a Twic card. It ain't that hard. Google your local Twic office. Go down there, pay them people that money, do your fingerprints, get your Twic card. Even if you don't know if you're gonna have it, have loads that require it, I feel like it's something you should have. Just the same way that you have a license, the same way you have personal identification, you need to have a Twic card. The same way you have your social security card, you should have a Twic card. Like, I don't get it. Like, and I don't understand why schools don't teach about it. A lot of drivers just don't know what a Twic card is. Boom, done, finito. That's Twic card. Now, what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about hazmat. I get so many inboxes and so many questions about hazmat. Now, the hazmat regulations have changed since I got my hazmat. So, I got my hazmat endorsement, my tanker endorsements, my triples, my doubles. I got all of my endorsements when I got my permit. So this was over a year ago, before the new regulations required that you actually take a hazmat class. So I can't speak on the hazmat class because I was not required to take that hazmat class. I had to take a test at the DMV. So the process of getting your hazmat is taking your test, which you can take your test before you do your fingerprints and before you do your background check. What I did was I took all of my tests at one time. Some states require you to have your CDL for like 3 months before they let you add it, but I'm in Louisiana and I took all of my tests at one time. I don't know if that's changed since the new regulations. However, I did all of mine at one time. Okay, so the process for me getting my hazmat was, when I went to get my permit, I just went ahead and took the test, and then the next day I went and did my fingerprints and my background information. So that way, by the time it was time for me to do my road test and go back and get my hard license, my fingerprints and background check was already in the system so that they could go ahead and put it on my hard license. You can take the test and pass the test. They are not going to put that endorsement on your license until your fingerprints come back and your background check comes what is the fee? I want to say it was $125. Where did I go? I went to the same place where I got my Twic card from. They do fingerprints there. The process for a Twic Card and Hazmat is essentially the same. Like, you go in, you fill out a form, you have to have like 2 forms of ID, and you do your fingerprints. And yeah, that's that. So at the time that I got my hazmat, it wasn't hard. It wasn't difficult for me to get my hazmat. I think the test was like 20 questions or something like that. But you have to realize that I worked in a chemical plant for 8 years prior to me coming into trucking. So hazmat stuff, I dealt with hazmat stuff working in a chemical plant. So that kind of wasn't like foreign to me. It wasn't hard though. The test wasn't hard. So what I run right now, I'm gonna say 90% of the loads that I run are hazmat. I run hazmat. That's what I do. Some places, all of our loads, I feel like, are at rates that reflect hazmat loads. So what I mean by that is, I'm looking at 2 tanks right now. One is in hazmat, one is hazmat. But I don't feel like the hazmat loads pay more than the non-hazmat load, if that makes any sense. All of our loads, the rates are pretty much, you know, like mixed in, if that makes sense. They all kind of balance out. So I don't feel like, oh, I don't want to take that load because it's not a hazmat load. It ain't going to be no good paying load. No. It's still going to be a good paying load here at the company that I'm in. Now, there is another company that's locally here where I live in New Orleans, and I know for a fact that they get paid an extra like $100, I think, if the load is a hazmat load, but they don't actually pull that many hazmat loads. So it's kind of rare for a driver to get a hazmat load over there, to the point where, like, I don't even think that hazmat is required for that company in their hiring process. Here at Hennef, it's required. You have to have your hazmat to get hired here. But I do know over there they do an extra $100 on a hazmat load. So yeah, that's point blank to the point. That's Twic Card and that's hazmat. I don't know why I get a lot of questions about it, and that's why I just decided to do a video on it. And if you have any other specific questions, Google will be your best friend. Google a Twic Card. Like, just Google it. Do I feel like you make more money with a Twic Card and hazmat? Yes. Obviously, yeah. Do I feel like if you don't run hazmat, or if